We are a channel that appreciates its viewers. We give our utmost effort for the best quality content, and we even push for the highest quality effort when it comes to how we look for you on screen.
Hi. When I need my skin to look its absolute best when I'm blowing the heads off zombies, I set my ring light to 4700K. Because I care. Maybe he's born with it.
Join our community. Join a channel that loves its viewers. Join this channel because we care.
Yeah. Voila!
What's up?
On air. I look at Boris down there getting all sexified. How you doing, Graveyard?
Pretty good. Pretty tired, but pretty good still nonetheless.
Yeah, you grind, man.
Mm-hmm.
Your show last night was fun though. I saw the whoever that Boo Boo was or Babu or
Babu.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. He put you through some paces.
Yeah.
On air. What's going on with you, Mr. Fours? Long time no see.
I know, man. I just got done making the best sandwich I've ever made in my whole life and gave it to one of my best friends in the world.
Woohoo! And I had half of that lovely sandwich. The other half is right here. Look at that brilliance. Shows you how close we were cutting it for the show tonight.
So you were right, Van. You said that ever since that Because I Care commercial, I have thinned out a little bit more.
Yeah, dude, you can see a total difference from that commercial to where you are now. Brushing his hair like Danny Zuko.
What's up, Rugbeard? I've missed you. All 16 hours of not seeing you.
Right.
All right. So where's Anthony?
I don't know. Don't know.
No Celeron tonight.
I'm in California, and nobody's gonna be here to say hi. What the actual F? I even changed my name for everybody.
I appreciate it, Forrest.
I love it. Next year we're gonna get you and Graveyard out at the same time.
And Jen.
Yes. And John.
Metso, get on the screen. Hey, Say Wong. Hey, we started on time.
I think we were like a minute late.
Yep.
Even Patrick was like betting against us.
Oh my gosh. It's my fault. I mean, I had your kitchen occupied with all of that steak greatness.
It is fantastic. Mez says, I still need to meet you.
Well, come on with it, girl. I am all flanneled in hugs. And steak.
Yeah, last night was actually really cool. Forrest got into town, and we went out to the Kyber Cave, picked up Steven, my shop assistant, and we headed out to go see Miss Aubrey.
Oh my God. She about squeezed my neck off. It was great.
Whatever.
And then we sang karaoke like for God, man, how long were we there? 3-4 hours?
Yeah.
I left 6 a.m. Eastern time. By the time we were done with karaoke, back at the house and just crashing out, I had already been awake for 20 and a half hours. I was done.
You're pulling graveyard kind of days.
Yeah,
That's what you need. You need a show called The Graveyard Shift.
I mean,
Trademark.
Except Stephen King wrote that book in the 80s.
You know. But his name's not Graveyard, so screw him.
There you go.
Yeah, that's very true.
We're coming for you, Stephen King.
We're coming for you, man.
I'm gonna get you.
So this week, we actually have a couple of interesting topics. I was telling Fours Graveyard that one of these topics that we've had was literally one of the ideas for the catalyst of Kyber Cave After Dark. Meaning, when me and another person had first conceived the idea of the show, this topic was one of the ones that kind of sparked the idea of, well, we should have like a discussion show. And it's the one that has to do with music, current modern music. So I'm very excited about tonight's show. Say, Wong, are you anywhere right now? Are you at a con somewhere? You're usually at a con every weekend. Yeah, we should get Say Wong out here to.
I just want to say how ironic it is that the Florida guy came to California to make you a Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah, and it is.
Had I not gone to Philly, I wouldn't have been able to do it the way I did. I only have Pat's and Geno's to thank.
Oh, they're fantastic. They're fantastic.
You know who they are?
I made Van the bread Geno style, and I prepared the meat Pat style.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Plus, I'm from Philly, so, if it doesn't come to me naturally, then there's something wrong. See, I knew something was wrong, because Say Wong's not at a convention. There is something wrong. There is a disturbance in the fours. I'm so filled with bad jokes.
Maybe it was too much cheese on that cheesesteak.
Shit, I'm running on 7 hours of sleep in 56 hours time. So, yeah.
Hey, me too. And tonight we'll mark only another 4 hours of sleep. So.
You gotta go work.
We gotta nerd out in the morning
because we can nerd out.
Yeah.
Wait, nerd out is 10. Oh, but then you're ahead of time. Damn. No, wait. When you guys do nerd out, it's afternoon for you guys, right?
It's noon for me.
It's noon for you, Graveyard. But here in Cali, it'll be 10.
But my dogs get me up at 6 no matter what. So
oh Jesus.
I'm not going Say Wong. It's all the way in Japan.
I would like to go. Japan is one of those places that I would love to visit just in general, let alone Star Wars Celebration being out there. I think if I went, I would have to go for I'd have to make it like a week-long trip and then do a few days of Celebration and then a few days to go do other stuff that I'd want to do in Japan.
Well, I mean, let's get these views up, let's get the subscribers up, and maybe we can pay for it.
Woohoo!
Or we'll go Say Wong. Say Wong said he's gonna buy the tickets for all of us.
Yeah, Say Wong. Thanks, Say Wong. We love you, Say Wong. That is a dedicated fan right there.
I know, right?
So we have two topics tonight. And both of them seem like they could be a little bit heavy to me. I think Mets didn't realize one of them could be a heavier. We have the FDA one and the modern music. Where do you want to start, Grave?
Let's start with FDA.
FDA, good. I have some stuff. I actually have some research for the modern music segment.
Oh, nice.
And this, I know Fours and I have had conversations about. It's something we're very passionate about. The question is the FDA, are they here for you or are they here for corporations? Who are they here really to protect? And are the foods that they are approving, are they actually poison for us?
So that is a low topic. If you want to go the history of FDA, they were for us because there literally was poison in our food before they came around.
Right.
And so the argument was there's actual poison versus the synthetic stuff that we have now. I mean, those are two separate things, I think.
Right. And when we say we have up here approved poison for profits, right? Of course, a bit of that is a little bit of hyperbole. I mean, it's and it really depends on, because some people would define sugar as a poison or a toxin for your body. Some people will get offended if you try to put sugar in that category. So, I guess it really would depend on what, how far you think the food that we are eating is actually poisoning our bodies, or is it just unhealthy for us?
Both.
I mean, it's a little, it's a little column A, little column B, because anything that's natural shouldn't be bad for you. And sugar is natural. High fructose corn syrup, not. Sugar cane
exactly
is.
High fructose corn syrup, or like cane sugar off the cane, it's fine, but that what is it, that granite sugar, or the junk they put in the bag, it's all enriched? No.
Right.
What you mix up with your Kool-Aid? No.
So I mean, and I wonder, what is it? They obviously they do something to it, right? I don't know what sugar looks like off the cane, or is it, is it something hard? Is it a liquid that they have to change into a different form?
Think of brown sugar, and then sugar is the molasses removed from it to make it the white sugar, the crystallized sugar. So molasses is sugar granulated sugar that we have, and the molasses are a product from the same sugarcane plant. They're separated out.
Oh wow!
So that's why you have dark brown sugar, light brown sugar. Is how much molasses is taken out of that product. And part of that process also then creates sorghum, which is a molasses type thing as well, which is tastier than molasses. Sorghum. I love sorghum. My good friend's parents have a farm where they have cows, and it's a sugarcane farm. So I get homemade sorghum, and it's amazing. And it's it's just part of the process, and it's pretty good for you.
So I'm wondering, and I don't know, It sounds like you're pretty knowledgeable about it, but I don't know how much you know about it. But I'm wondering, what is the point of processing sugar? Like, does it come off the cane sweet? Like, could you use it that way, or? Because I know, like, for instance, they say with like a coffee bean, a coffee bean doesn't taste good. You've got to do processes and grind and mix it with things to make it the product that we drink. But is sugar that same way? Is it good naturally? And and if so, why are we processing it?
We process it for shelves. Before the shelf stability came into play, and it was an issue when sugar was a commodity, was cost more than a pound of sugar costs more than a pound of gold. Right. Sugar rations, that's always something that we've always had to deal with. And it's really been since the late 40s, 50s, and 60s where we had the shelf stable stuff. That's when the stuff started becoming really bad for us. Right, because we always ate meat, but it wasn't good meat. It was rancid meat, and that's why we had ketchup. Right, it was to cover up the rancid meat, and that's why the steak sauce. Yeah, that's how ketchup was invented. It was to cover up the dying, decaying taste of meat, to cover it up so people would eat it.
Wow.
There's an entire show called "The Food That Built America," and that's all kind of in that show.
Right.
But when we went through the 2 world wars, and women had to work and provide for the family, so cook dinner. Cooking dinner was always an hours long process because they were doing everything from scratch.
Right.
But when we made it more convenient, when we had the pancake mix in a box, where we got the cake mix in a box, everything was included there. All you really had to do is add water. Now they changed it because they didn't feel like it was home cooking enough. So they go, okay, add 1 egg. You don't have to add the egg.
I've heard about that with the baking, with like the cakes and stuff like that. Like the moms were feeling guilty that they weren't actually cooking.
Yes. So that's why there's add an egg to that stuff, is to make it seem like, hey, I made these brownies. Did you? Or did you buy a box mix and add the egg?
Right.
There's a big difference between making brownies from scratch and getting the cake mix or the brownie mix and doing it. So that convenience factor, the shelf stability, and realistically why we are very different from other countries that can eat the same stuff we do, but they make it from scratch because their country is a heck of a lot smaller and don't have to transport it and aren't worldwide in that stuff. So anything that is shelf stable that has to make it overseas now has the stuff in there, has the extra additives, preservatives that are bad for us. So if we are okay with stuff only lasting a month, we'd be healthier, but we're not. It's the convenience factor that we're dealing with here. And it's always a convenience factor.
Right.
Unfortunately, do you want to, make your own brownies, or do you want to buy a box mix for $1.99 and an egg, and you're done?
Right. When we talk about convenience, I wonder how much. I mean, there's obviously got to be a cost. Well, I guess the cost efficiency for the companies is being able to keep it on the shelf longer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
Now you'd think they'd want it to go bad faster, so you have to buy more, but they can't do that because it's such a globalization market of it. I don't know if you ever browse Reddit and you see the American section at other countries' grocery stores where it's like Velveeta cheese and marshmallow Lucky Charms, peanut
Pop
butter.
Tarts. It's all the crap.
Right, but it's shelf stable enough to go over there.
Wow.
So it's yes. Is the FDA approving this stuff? Yes. Is it killing us in the same way that stuff used to? How do I get over there? So it's that the happy balance, because we had arsenic, we had stuff in food, and FDA goes, this is literally killing people as they eat it, versus the health decline that we get from what we have now.
Right. But then I wonder, because I've been told that like the lobbyists in DC for both the medical industry and the food industry are like none of the other. Maybe the oil has just as many lobbyists, but then like I wonder, why do we approve things that aren't approved in other countries? Like, for example, what is it like? Red number 4 and yellow number 5. I know that there's certain dyes that that are approved in other countries, or here, that are strictly forbidden in other countries.
Yes, absolutely. The lobbyist is part of it, and you're talking about, yes, there is big oil. There is now, if you watch Thank You for Smoking, there's the cigarette smoking lobby. There's, let's face it, the ATF and the NRA that are lobbying for gun rights and all that stuff. So is America making profits off of the lobbyists? Absolutely. How do we stop it? We get rid of them. I mean, we don't let people get bribed, sit in positions of power. Now, you're talking about, stuff that's banned in other countries, and people go, well, how do we still have Skittles in other countries? And it's all made by Mars, right? And without those dyes. They don't have it. They, in fact, don't have it in their country. So it is banned.
They don't have the dye, or they don't have the product, like Skittles altogether.
They don't have the dye.
Right.
So it's because they have more stringent rules that they found a way to make things different. So if you watch like Good Mythical Morning, they do taste tests of the same product from around the world. They have a Mountain Dew from Australia, they have a Mountain Dew from Canada, they have a Mountain Dew from Mexico, Mountain Dew from US, Mountain Dew from wherever.
Yeah.
All that type of stuff. And it does taste and look dramatically different. Now, what's stopping our country is, we think we have riots and street food stuff we have now. If you change someone's brownie mix, they're going to come after you.
Right.
We are used to, we are now 3 generations deep into that shelf stable commercialization of these products. And we go, we don't want it to change.
Yeah, I wonder about that a lot. Like, as Americans, I feel like, and a lot of times people get pissed off when they hear me say this, but I feel like we've been like, we weren't raised, we were bred. You know what I mean? Like, we have been shaped since birth to think certain things and to be, well, just face it, consumers. That's what that movie was it They Live? Was that what it was called? Or That's what that was about, right?
Yep.
When it comes down to it, is we are all raised and bred to be consumers. And it's just like with the masks, right? When people are like, you can't take away my rights, even if it is, better for me. If I choose to do it, that's what I want to do. When motorcycle helmets became a law, there were people fighting against that. You can't make me wear a helmet.
Let me die my way.
I'm gonna ride my motorcycle how I want to.
I mean, I know a lot of people that in my life that had the anti-mask wearing argument, and they go, the government can't control me. I go, you're damn straight. Abortions for all. I can drink as much as I want to and drive. Oh wait, no, I can't. So
Right.
shut up. The government already tells you what to do.
Right.
God, I love you, Graveyard.
Right.
I mean, you're talking to a liberal punk here, right? You're gonna. I hate the government. I hate all forms of the government, but they've always been in your lives, and anyone saying they can't come into your lives is bullshitting you to no end.
Right.
They already do. And yes, we are bred to be Americans. Yeah, we have the most national pride in our country of any other country in the world, but we have one of the lowest happiness factors in the country. So what's that tell you? You know, people think we're crazy because we salute and pledge to a flag. You know, that we have these national ideas in our head, these God-given rights. You know, we can get into the whole politics. You know, the 10 Amendments and what should not be infringed, stuff like that. Every other democracy changes their constitution every 5 to 10 years. We don't. We did not override it in any way, shape, or form. And this all ties together is because we let people in these positions of power approve these things. They get money in their pockets to say, you know what, look the other way while we put high fructose corn syrup and everything, or we do all the stuff.
Corn syrup.
I know. So it's, you know, whose responsibility is it? Who's the check and balance in the corrupt government? It is the people.
Right.
So how do you get rid of the
But when you have people actively fighting against their own best interests, it doesn't help anything at all.
You know, in certain situations like that where we talk about best interests and whatnot, I think and this is very selfish for me to say, but I think it's best to turn inward and look at how it's affecting you individually and how you choose to, how shall I say, treat yourself. You know, if you are fortunate enough to be aware of the things going into your food, and you have a way to not purchase it. Like you can have something sweet, you can have something meaty, proteiny, whatever, and you can avoid these enriched ingredients, these preservatives, these chemicals, these things that, you know, we are told they're FDA approved and it's safe to eat, but it's really not in the long term. If you can go natural, then I think it's the responsibility of the end user to do the best they can to feed themselves in a maximized nutritional manner.
But you're gonna have so many people that like I don't know. I don't necessarily want to say like inner city, but you have a lot of people that may have malnutritional or deficits. They also, what do they call them? Food deserts, where like you know, for miles around, the only real food you can get is from convenience stores, not actual grocery stores. And then a lot of times the healthier foods are way too expensive for a lot of the low income people anyway. So they're trapped into these circles. For you and I, you know, maybe we're a little more affluent. Maybe we watch YouTube and do more research about what's, you know, what can be good at better for our bodies. But there are a lot of people that are just stuck eating what they can get.
Well, and the food deserts that exist that they're really talking about, it's not that the produce is higher cost, it's that they don't have it. It's because it doesn't sell. And if you want to be a business, you stock what sells. So, unfortunately.
So then let me ask this question. That's the famous line. That's the Fours line. Let me ask this question. So then would you then put the responsibility on those who are quote unquote trapped to, I don't know, go to the places that have these natural resources, like you know, like, and and let me preface this. I'm not talking globally. I'm talking within the United States. And yes, I am perfectly aware that there are people still today, right as we're speaking, in the United States who are going without food. It boggles my freaking mind. But I mean, you go where you got to go and you do what you got to do to be able to handle business, right? I'm not looking at this from a business perspective, what sells, what doesn't sell. I'm talking about the families, the moms, the dads, the you know, the young adults who have the ability to pack up, get in their cars, and basically go try again in a different place, because if it's not working for you in one spot, take the risk and go to another spot. I mean, even now.
Well, first off, you're talking about A, people that have the ability to do that, and B, I think more importantly, people that would have the foresight to do that. For example, like I think the problem is bigger and systemic. Like I look at my preschool, right? I look at the literal crap that they get for breakfast and for lunch. They literally have pizza 3 times a week: Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And it's just this all bread. There's like hardly any cheese or meat on it or anything. Their breakfast, they get a pack of donuts, they get juice, which is sugar. Maybe they'll get some apple slices, which I'm sure has got a ton of preservatives in it because it's getting shipped out to schools all over the place. They'll get a carton of milk, and this is federally approved as a nutritious breakfast.
Or federally approved or state approved?
Maybe state approved.
It's state approved. It's state approved.
I think about the fact, like, a lot of times, like sometimes in the lunches, the kids will get carrot sticks, or maybe they'll get what's the other? Cucumbers. They'll get cucumber slices, and a lot of times, anything that's even close to nutritious or healthy, the cucumbers, the carrots, that shit goes straight in the trash.
Right.
But when I look at kids from other countries, when you watch the videos of like the school lunches that are provided in Japan or Germany, or so many of these other school countries, the kids are eating things that are more healthy, and they're enjoying it because that's the culture that they've been raised in. If you were living, say, in the inner city, and you grew up on fucking Cheetos and Mountain Dews, you might be adverse to eating broccoli, even though mentally that that's what you should be eating. But you just, you haven't become accustomed to that taste.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think I can't. I'm just speaking for myself here. As the ages that we are, you guys are a couple years older than me. That we grew up though as the gamer diet of frozen pizza left over for breakfast and
latchkey food.
Days. But not latchkey. But like I was in college, I had leftover pizza. I'm just having that for breakfast.
Right?
And was I drinking Mountain Dew more than water? Absolutely. But when I started making my own money and be able to get stuff, I started making my own food. I don't eat really that stuff anymore. I don't have pop anymore. It is a conscious decision on my end to not do that, and I generally don't supply that for my kids either.
Right.
Now I would rather, like, when it comes to family functions, stuff like that, if there's a tray of fresh vegetables and a cake, fresh fruits, I'm going for the fruit as opposed to the cake, because I don't have a sweet tooth. I hate really sweet things.
Right.
So for me, I'm lucky because I really love vegetables. I love cooking vegetables.
Oh, Graveyard, you're sweet enough yourself.
I love, I have 3 garden beds I made a couple of years ago that I grow my own stuff. I make my own pickles. I do all that stuff, and I love to do that. And I'm passing on to my kids because I have the opportunity to do it.
But I would say, especially when we're looking at a national level, when we're looking at this whole country, you are the exception to the rule.
Yes.
And even like with Fours has more willpower than many people do to.
Just not at this moment in time.
You're on vacation. It's all right, homie. To be able to fast, to be able to eat a more reasonable diet. We weren't raised like that. We were raised in the mindset as supersized as a country. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We were constantly, told about, having a bigger, and then always eating everything on your plate, right?
Yes.
Make sure your plate gets emptied. So I feel like it's much harder once you've already been brainwashed, right? It's almost like the Matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you're plugged into thinking, that Cheetos is real food. Fuck, I just heard the other day, not that this is a new thing, but I just heard about it. Did you know Subway sandwiches, do you know their bread is legally classified as cake?
In other countries, not in America.
Right.
It's only in Ireland that's classified as cake.
It could be legally because of the amount of sugar that's actually in the bread.
Correct. Absolutely, yes. So I think part of what the systemic issue that we came in this country is that we came from generations that were rationing stuff that didn't have sugar, that didn't have this stuff during the wars, because of that. And it's always throughout history, the upper class had the sugar, they had the honey. Egyptians ate nothing but honey and meat and wine, and they were dying at 14. Now,
Right.
But it was the upper echelon that was able to afford sugar. And once that sugar price came down, that's when we started getting all these chocolates, all these French cuisines that people are able to afford. And it's been throughout history that as it became cheaper, we're able to do it. Now, with the rationing we had in this country, all of a sudden we have these products that are made there, and we can have sugar, we can have honey for relatively cheap. So of course we're going to use it. So we took what used to be elitist food and made it common food.
Right.
Because most people lived off of vegetable soup while other people ate meat. So the idea of, and we see probably said three generations now that have that ability. And you're right, we were bred into it because our grandparents went from that homemade stuff to the fast food convenience, and they still pick the fast food convenience. So What's that say? We're going to pick convenience over it. And I think to your point about the food, 1 second, Forrest, I see you. To your food in the school, most of those kids, that's the only time to eat. So you can give them the most caloric rich intake they possibly can to have as much calories in their body, unfortunately.
Is it all right if I jump in with something?
Yeah. I'm done.
The graveyard, between you and Anthony and Aubrey, I think I learned like more than anything than any other point in my whole freaking life. So I'm so grateful. To give a definition, as it comes to the FDA approved poison for profits, this is very, very generalized. So take it for what it is. I believe, and this is stuff that I've learned over the past couple of years. If it cannot be gathered, grown, harvested, or killed, it's not for you. If you can't grow it, you can't kill it, you can't gather it, and you can't harvest it, it's not natural.
Are babies on the menu?
Are they on your menu?
You can grow it.
I can't grow a baby.
But seriously, there's a brand new study. Okay. This is happening right now because it's not aspartame, because aspartame, it's an artificial sweetener.
Yes.
This is not new, but it's getting a lot of attention right now. It is erythritol. You know what erythritol is?
Nope.
Okay. On the market right now, you're going to find a lot of products that have the word keto on it, keto friendly, gluten free, all natural. And I'm not saying it's all of these products, but a large majority of these products, especially the sweeter ones like the keto cookies or the sugar-free this or the sugar-free that, they're sweetened with a substance known as erythritol. Your body produces a natural amount of its own erythritol. It is being found lately, within the last few months, that people who go on these major fad diets, a lot of the ketogenic diets or the super low carb diets, and they choose to substitute their baked goods with sugar-free baked goods or the keto-friendly ice creams and things like that, they're going to be sweetened with erythritol. And what's happening is that they're having really bad reactions. They're causing, lo and behold, beginning symptoms of cardiovascular disease. The same freaking problems you're having if you're consuming stuff like enriched bread, enriched rice, high fructose corn syrup, bread from Subway, macaroni and cheese, all this stuff that they're telling you, don't consume this stuff, have this, free of carbohydrates, free stuff. Well, it's enriched with erythritol. So it's almost defeating, because you're trying so hard to make yourself better and you want to get away from these things that are poisoning us, only to be poisoned by something else.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vicious freaking cycle, which is why these ingredients can't be killed, grown, harvested, or gathered. It's not natural. Now, excuse me while I take a sip of my Coke Zero.
I almost wonder if, God, I almost think like the democracy or capitalism, is it really a good thing? Is it as beautiful as we make it out to be here in the United States? Because it's capitalism and democracy that allows one human being to take advantage of another human being, knowing what they are doing to them for the sake of profits.
But
alcohol and cigarette sales, my friend.
But they're not forcing you to do it. You are doing it.
Yes. Yeah. No. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. But I also see the reverse side, that it is hard to break out of these roles when it's all you have ever known.
Well, not only that,
in the United States, if your child eats Gerber's, if you have a baby
mm-hmm.
and they eat Gerber's baby food, your child in the United States will more than likely never have known a single day of their life without sugar ingested into them.
Yeah.
If you eat off the shelf baby food.
Now, one thing you guys just made, you had mentioned, Gray Bear, what did you just say? Nobody's forcing us?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to half debate that with you.
Okay.
First I'm gonna credit the side of you being right. Correct. There is nobody forcing us to open our wallets and purchase these products and eat them.
Mm-hmm.
On the other end of the spectrum, though, and this is what has been really, like, quote unquote covered up, but it's being shown and proven more and more every day. The chemicals involved with these products, the high fructose corn syrups, the enriched breads, all this stuff with that's like super high glycemic, super high carbohydrates. The chemicals inside create a hormonal imbalance in our systems.
Mm-hmm.
It subjects our minds to not being satiated.
Yes.
It creates this sensation of not being satiated. You're not, which is why. Remember the Pringles motto: "Once you pop the top, you can't stop."
Yep.
Or that rumor that someone says, there's a magical formula that McDonald's uses in their French fries that when you eat one, you just can't stop eating them. It's because the chemicals involved in creating these foods cause the mind to want more, because you are not satisfied by what you're consuming. So are they forcing it on you? No, but they've created a formula so that I'm not going to say it. Not that you can't say no, that it's more difficult to say no. Therefore, your portion sizes become larger, you're supersizing, and now you're spending more money. And that's how they're making the profits. That's literally the definition of the approved poison for profit, because these chemicals, they're not going to kill you over the short term. They're not. They're going to kill you over the long term.
Mike Myers told us this back in the 90s when he made So I Married an Axe Murderer. He was talking about the Colonel Sanders and why he was evil. Because he puts a secret chemical in it that makes you crave it fortnightly.
Well, I mean, there's yes. So what Forrest is saying is absolutely true. They do studies to find what makes people eat the most. That is 100% accurate. Now, are there things naturally found in the world that does the same thing for us? Yes, there are. And we talk about the idea of when you eat chocolate, yes, it's a man-made product, right? But why so many people like sweet stuff and chocolate is because it releases the serotonin and endorphins to give you that good feeling, and that is something that's natural to it. Now, if you add the science behind it, before we didn't understand why. We didn't understand a lot of the science up until 120 years ago for
covered
a lot
up
of things. Yeah. So yes, it is in our bodies to crave. Now, I don't like chocolate. I don't like the taste, and it also doesn't release anything in my head to make me happy while eating it. So
Okay.
I'm lucky
That makes
in
me
that.
sad.
I mean, let's face it, nothing makes me happy. But but that's the thing. Like, it's ingrained into your body it's in our instincts to go, hey, our ancestors had to fight every day to have a stomach with food in it. And because it's still in our lizard brains that we have to survive that way, is so we want to take as many calories as we can. We want to eat until we can't eat anymore, because it's naturally that our ancestors didn't have the luxury of having.
And when you go a long time between meals, ladies and gentlemen, what do we call that?
Fasting.
Thank you. And when they were eating naturally, because all they could do was hunt and gather, what do we call that? PhD, the proper human diet. We eat the way we eat now only over the last 80 years. Food did not start getting industrialized the way that it is now until after 1920. So you got to figure, we've hunted and we've gathered and we've grown for literally thousands of years. If you're a religious person or a believer, we've been doing it for thousands of years. If you're an evolutionist, we've been doing it for hundreds of thousands of years. And if you're an astrologist, we've been doing it for millions of years. But no matter how you slice it, it's going to be 80 years versus literally thousands and more.
Right.
Our bodies, our very nature is defined by what we have done up to this point, meaning it's going to take another literal thousands of years for our human bodies and all the generations to get used to something like McDonald's, so that we can survive on it naturally. Synthetic food's not the way. Synthetic ingredients it's not the way. And like, all these people dying and getting sick and blaming it on something else, no, stop it.
Yeah,
it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time until all these things, that all these crazy quote unquote quack doctors are saying, oh, keto this, and then look, the truth is going to come out. The truth is going to come out. A healthy, balanced diet is not what a healthy, balanced diet should be. It just isn't. And one of these days, the American
but as
diabetes,
long as profits are attached to it, the truth is never going to come out without somebody else coming up with a countermeasure because they can make $1 off it.
Correct. But the information is so readily available now, and it's in so many people's hands, it can't be silenced.
Yeah,
it can't be silenced.
Here's the challenge, though, is yes, there's information out there, but there's just as much counter information out there. And so many people get so frustrated that they just throw up their hands. One day eggs are good for you. One day eggs are bad for you. One day, you can have, a glass of wine. One day wine is bad for you. You know what I mean? Like, I think people just get so frustrated, and that's really, and they talked about it in the movie. Thank You for Not Smoking. They talked about the idea that it wasn't to necessarily get you to believe them. The idea was to put out so much varying information to keep the modern person confused. It wasn't necessarily nobody ever tried to, push that, cigarettes. Well, actually, that's not true. And they did in the beginning. Cigarettes are good for you, right? In the end, the cigarette companies weren't trying to say they were good for you. They were just trying to say, well, the information about how bad it is for you is very up in the air and mixed.
So cigarettes follow the same path as the food that we're talking about.
Right.
The cigarette tobacco that we have now has been proselytized. It has poison in it. It has a bunch of other things in there versus pure tobacco coming off the leaf that people have been smoking since they found tobacco. So thousands of years. But people weren't dying of lung cancer because the other stuff is now in the cigarettes to make them more addictive. It's still the same science, but in something else. So, the idea of, if you have a cigarette from 120 years ago that you had the tobacco leaf that you dried yourself, that you rolled yourself, you know exactly what's in it. It's the same. Right. It's the same process. It's still the approval. It's still the same thing. Every company is doing the same thing through that's ingesting into our bodies is the chemical piece of it that you want that brand.
Right, but the problem is if it's tied around money, then I don't feel like we're ever going to get into a place where things are healthy because they should be and not because profit isn't somehow tied into it. I mean, this is another area that I feel like goes with medicine. They say that we're supposed to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are our three promises, right? To me, that part of that life is the medical industry. You shouldn't be making money off anything that has to do with our health. Liberty has to do with prisons and jails, which is actually the next topic that we'll have later on tonight. And liberty has to do with schools. Those are three areas where I feel like there should never be capitalistic interests involved.
Yeah, but let me counter with this. When you say pursuit of happiness, many of us in today's world, our pursuit of happiness is literally finding happiness with ourselves. And a lot of that is tied back to our own chemical being, our own hormonal, not changes. Graveyard, help me. Who we are hormonally, who we are chemically.
Yes.
My pursuit of happiness right now is finding and working on a me that is going to be healthy. And part of that challenge, part of that pursuit is finding and consuming what is not poison. So let these people try to interfere for all the profit that they want to. But ultimately, that pursuit of happiness, that pursuit to want to be the best that I can be, not only is that my journey, it's my responsibility. I have to own that. If I want it, then damn it, I gotta go get it.
It's also a bit not to go against or be combative, but it's a bit of a privileged position too.
Don't make me come out there.
He can actually come out of that.
I am right in the next room.
I think financially, I'm not rich by any means. We're middle class type people. I assume that your family is the same way, Aaron, in Florida.
We po.
But what I'm saying is that when you have a little more money and a little more comfort and stability, when you have a home to go home to every night, and you know that you're going to have the ability to get another meal, it allows you to free up your mind to now begin to think, okay, what can I be doing better? But when you don't have a lot of opportunity or you don't have a lot of choices, you're not thinking about doing better. You're just thinking about surviving the night.
Right. So we flipped, like I said, I was talking about earlier, the elitists were able to consume all the stuff. Like I said, we flipped it. So the elitists now have the capability to eat the healthier lifestyle while the poor don't. And it's completely flopped. It's way it's not been ever. And, talking about for profits, do we make the companies responsible for it? Yeah, we could say, hey, you only have this much sugar in your chocolate bar and it has to be there.
Yeah.
Or, they say, there's always that rumor they're going to start putting less chocolate, maybe, put more insects and stuff into our food to help counter off some of these balances and for profits cheap. It's, sustainable food and all that jazz. If they did it and didn't tell us, we'd probably never know.
Mm-hmm.
We really wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But
and what's crazy is that, and I'll shut up after this. There's one thing that's on most food labels. By law, they don't have to break it down for you, and it's scary.
yes,
When you look on, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, natural flavors.
yes,
They do not have to tell you what's in the natural flavor, nor do they have to tell you what it's made of.
correct.
All they have to say by law in this country is natural flavor.
I had this argument with my sister not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want to go by definition, everything's natural. We don't make something out of nothing. It's always something that is natural. They just process it. So
yeah,
oil's natural.
Yes, it is.
Right? Aaron, is there a legal reason for that you know about?
I am not educated enough to give that answer, but if I can look it up and give you an answer at a later date.
I had never really thought about it.
Answer, man.
I had never thought about it until you just now brought it up. But yeah, you see natural flavors all the time. And what the hell does that mean? What the hell does natural flavors mean, right? Like, I look at natural flavors. You know what I look at it? It's almost like the way I do at Kyber Cave. I don't sell Luke Skywalker lightsabers. I sell Luke Skywalker inspired lightsabers, right? To me, the word flavor and inspire are the same thing, right? Because everything's a flavor.
Yeah. The sweat comes off my bald head. That's a flavor.
Right. Not what I want to taste.
Hey, look, I would love a strawberry inspired milkshake, you know?
I mean, let's face it, most of them are inspired by fruit. They're not really fruit. It's fruit flavors.
Right. And I mean, if you think about it like candy, right? When you think about traditional flavors of candy, they really taste nothing like the natural thing. Like when you think about green apple candy, like a Jolly Rancher, it tastes nothing like an
That's not what a green apple tastes like.
Apple, right? Or cherry. A cherry Jolly Rancher tastes nothing like an actual cherry taste.
Right. But they do that to make what's the idea of the flavor in your head. You're going to have that product more than an actual cherry, most likely.
Right.
So have we beaten this subject into the ground?
No,
are you saying you want to move on? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm actually asking the question. Have we beaten this subject into the ground?
I mean, the question is, yes, we can sit here and say we can do these things, and what do we do to spread the word? How do we stop this from happening? It's that we as a people need to come together and say it. Now, to Ark's point is, egg is good for you one day and bad for the next. And something we really have to keep in mind is they are generalizing the health requirements of everyone as a whole. Every single person is different. Every single diet is different for each individual person. It's how your body processes it, and no one processes it just like you.
Right, because each of our individual needs are different. This is why some people can be carnivores and some people can be vegan, and most people can live on it balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are all different.
So yeah, I mean, our bodies are going to handle the approved poison differently than most people. If the majority of people don't get sick, then they're going to say this is fine. If the majority of people get sick, then it is a problem.
I'm just afraid because you see it all over the world. Everybody, and maybe it's slowed down. I haven't traveled as much as I used to when I was younger, but people talk about America's the best and I want to move to America. We want to be like Americans. But everything we're doing is fucking up Americans. You know what I mean? Like, why would other people want to be like Okinawa, right? Okinawa is a great example. And even Aubrey and I, we had a similar discussion when we were talking about rice before. Mm-hmm. But in Okinawa, 60, 70 years ago, had the longest life expectancy of anybody on the planet. People that came from Okinawa in general. They tend to have a much healthier lifestyle. They eat a lot healthier. That has all changed in the last 50 years. And you want to know why? Because they now have McDonald's. They now have Pizza Hut over there.
Freaking James.
I want to eat
I want to eat what The Rock eats because he's healthy as freak.
I mean, if you want to eat steroids, go right ahead.
Hey, James, you are invited to join us.
Yes.
If you're eating steroids,
we love you.
Yes. What's going on?
Well, and the thing is, like, I mean, Japan still has the highest life expectancy. They have the most people over 80, and they actually have a shortage of young people being able to take care of their elderly population.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, we live longer. Yes. Is it healthier? No.
Right. Well, our life expectancy is dropping in the United States for the first time in history. On top of that, we're having similar crisis as far as our future, especially when we look at things like Social Security, because, for instance, they're saying that like fertility levels are like half of what they used to be, even 25 years ago. And a lot of it is, put up to sugars and the dietary changes that we've had in the last 50 years.
I'll tell you what. I'll end with this subject on this note. I don't think it's a matter of what can we do. I think it's a matter of asking ourselves individually, what can, not should, not will, what can we live without?
Yes.
What can we live without? Shockingly more than you think. Try it.
Right. But again, I don't know. I feel like we're fighting a very, very uphill battle because we as individually,
it doesn't have to be that hard of a struggle. If you can conquer here, you can conquer anything.
That is true. However, you were fighting against programming and what else is going on around you. If you can fight what's in your head, right? But you're also battling against the fact that on your way to your job, you're going to pass 30 fast food places, and all of them are going to have unhealthy choices. To make a healthy choice, you have to go out of your way for that. You have to make those choices, but I feel like we should be doing it as a society. It's kind of like the TikTok video that I put out on my page earlier today about Aaron, you and I were talking about the little girl from Japan who was like 6 years old, and the American was watching him, and the 6-year-old child was walking all through the city by themselves, and then when the American asked their Japanese friend, like, how are all these young children just walking through the city without adults and doing their thing? And he said, because in Japan, the children are seen collectively as the responsibility of the entire community. And they're given responsibilities to go out and, go across town to school by themselves on the subway because the community is looking after them. And I feel like if we were more that same way, if we weren't just looking out for ourselves, but we're trying to look out for the full community, we would be better. Except for we can't do that because we have fucking corporations that are going to be fighting us every step of the way. When you have food conferences about healthy eating that are being sponsored by Coca-Cola, you got problems.
Yeah. If you have 30 different nutritionalists and physical education experts all pushing a different agenda and promising you that you're going to get thin in 90 days, we got a problem.
I don't see this as much different than the opioid addiction that we have right now. When you have all these doctors pushing
these chemicals are an opioid. They are an opioid. Well, it's killing us. It's not killing us faster, but it's killing us on a much larger and grander scale than anything else on God's green earth. It is quite literally the 60-year plan. That's it. You said it yourself. Start the kid on the Gerber sweet fruit baby food, and they are on the fast track to be dead by 58.
Right. I know, James. I got mine.
I just had my Coke Zero. I'm like, oh God, I'm such a hypocrite. I'm so sorry. Mrs. Fours, I'm so sorry. I know she's probably watching this on her TV, like cringing, like, oh, Mr. Fours, what are you eating and drinking and then preaching about? Stop it. Get help.
Well,
Right.
I mean, there's everything in moderation. You can have McDonald's once a week and be absolutely fine.
Sure.
You absolutely can. You can have everything in moderation. You can live based on your body. You might be able to survive on having a cheeseburger a day. It's entirely possible.
But what are you doing in between each of those cheeseburgers?
Correct.
You know what I mean? It's like this is why I don't fault canned goods of the 80s, because canned goods of the 80s were filled with preservatives.
Yes.
But it's really hilarious because now, it's been such a long time, and studies have shown that if we were in food crisis situations or apocalyptic situations or whatever situations, and you had a can of beefaroni from 20 years ago that was never ever open, and it's the only thing you've got to eat for the next week, then yes, your body will survive on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the preservatives, by God, yeah, it's going to help preserve you. It's gonna take your body longer to digest it, to process it. Is it good for you? No, but it will satiate you.
Yeah. Well, even in Last of Us on the TV show, God, it would have been 20 years since the pandemic, and people were still finding like canned food and looking for that to discourage and eat.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Sorry.
haven't seen it. Spoiler,
Well,
damn it!
And they do in the games.
No, I
too.
was referring to The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, a lot of apocalypse movies have that same kind of. Even Mad Max was eating dog food in that movie back in the day.
And it only took 6 months from that start to Mad Max level. No, it's like I said. Are they making, to tie it all together? Are they making profits off of this? Yes, but that's what every business does. That's their job.
And the reason is because the poison is not killing us right now.
Right.
It's a slow game.
Yep. Yeah.
Right, but we still know. I mean, we still know that it's killing us. I don't know. I think it's really fucked up that our health and our longevity as a species and the people are put in danger for a few people to make corporate, to make some money. And that's what it is. Our country, we've already seen the effects of what's happening and how it's going to change the face of this country over the next 50 years.
Right.
I mean, we've already got kids that are pre heart attack. Children.
Yeah. We've got some very obese children coming around.
And it's not going to decrease. And it's all well and good for you to have the mental change for Graveyard. Graveyard, I'd like to ask you, your parents, did you grow up in a very holistic household? Did your parents grow their own food, or
we had a garden. They would grow fruit. They'd make jams and jellies and preserves. Fast food, we ate. I think our fast food was we would have a local pizza place every couple of months, and the only time we had McDonald's was we went on vacation, which is once a year. That was it. I mean, the McDonald's was for my dad driving so he can eat while he drives 18 hours straight to go to Florida.
Right.
Why come to Florida? You drive 18 hours to get away from that shit.
But I mean, I grew up, everything was made. Yes, were there boxes of stuff? Yes. But, I didn't, once I had my own money, I was able to buy my own junk food. Did I buy it? Absolutely.
Right.
But yeah, holistic. I mean, my dad would never use holistic. We bore on a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to medicine being the holistic point of view. But food wise, yeah, I mean, we know it's bad for us, and that's what I'm trying to teach my kids is they want, their friends have McDonald's or Happy Meal, stuff like we will go out to a restaurant once a month, and that's it.
Right.
So it's something that we can change with. Our generation, people are aware, are able to luckily do this, is teach your kids that stuff.
Right.
I teach my daughter after we go to the dentist, I go, hey, we're going to the grocery store. Pick out any fruit or vegetable that you want to try that you've never tried. If it's vegetable, I will prepare it for you.
Wow.
And just to get you to do it, they help me with the gardens. They're really interested. They understand that green beans taste better from the garden than from sitting in the salt water in the can.
Right.
So, It's just a change that you have to consciously make, that you have to be able to do. I mean, you can find a way. Yes, would help be better. Absolutely, help would be great for everyone to get to this point. But yeah, could we tell McDonald's, hey, you have to make more of this plant-based, or you can't use these oils? We can, but then we're gonna go, we don't want the government in our telling us what to eat.
Right. That's another problem of why I'm worried that we'll never get to these healthy points, is because you're always going to have people fighting against their own interests.
Correct.
Yeah, well, I guess that's about it, huh?
Do the best you can. Do the best you can to be an example for the people in your life that you love.
Right.
That's the best you can do, and you only hope that they'll take from it and they'll teach the people they love down the road.
Right. You don't want to be stuck in a cage or behind bars, if you will.
Yeah. Segue. And I think about too how many times too, like, you know, God, like, and I'm not sure if it's because like my mom and I didn't get along, but she was a much healthier eater, and I am very not a healthy eater. But then it's kind of interesting. My son has kind of diverged back towards being, you know, probably because of how unhealthy eater I am, he's going more back towards being a more healthy eater. So yeah, very interesting. I think this is one of those topics I feel like we could talk about all night long. It's one of those things that are I'm very passionate about, because I feel like it's moral corruption of the country, and I just hate the people in power that allow this so that we can, you know, somebody can make money.
You know, Van, from me to you, dude, like, and I'm going to keep reiterating this, don't lose hope. Do not lose hope. When every last person on this planet believes that there's no hope left, like, at all, and they give in and they're like, okay, I'm just going to eat the McDonald's, then then it's hopeless. Then they won. But as long as you've got friends like Graveyard, myself, like Aubrey, like, you know, like those of us who have the knowledge that there is something better, like we're trying to keep hope, dude. Like, don't worry about who's making money and who's making profits, you know, like, seriously, like, Dave, this is for you. Fuck all that noise, man. Like, seriously, do for you what is for you. You want to make change, start with you, because someone who knows you and loves you is going to see you today. And then 6 months down the road, they're going to see you again. And they're going to be like, oh my freaking God, what did you do? And then you're going to have all the knowledge you need and all the experience from whatever course you took. And then you're going to tell them, and you're going to be like, hey, I did this. It was hard. It involved a lot of change. It involved a lot of willpower, but I had people in my life who loved me and cared about me enough, and they lived that life too, and they did this for themselves. So I knew it was real, and I knew it was possible. Bro, you did a 3-day fast between you and me. You did a 3-day fast. That's longer than I've ever fasted, and you nailed it, and you had fantastic results. You can do it again.
Back on that, it's getting back on that's difficult.
Well, remember, it's 30 days to be able to break a habit, 60 days.
It's 21.
But it takes 90 days for it to be a lifestyle.
It takes a life for it to be a lifestyle. Woo-hoo. It takes 21 days to break a habit. It takes between 3 and 6 months to see the changes, the noticeable changes. Hey, Premier Mommy.
Wow, your head just got like 12 sizes bigger with that.
Wait, I gotta do it. I gotta do it Mezzo style. Hey.
Hey.
What? But no, dude, come on. Like, seriously, don't give up. Don't give up the ghost. Don't give up hope. We love you, bro. And you know, how are we gonna make change? Be the change. I sincerely hope that in this journey that I've taken over the past 2 years, I've inspired somebody. Yay.
Like I said, I took the tour of the gym yesterday, so I'm going back to it. Like I said, I used to run 5Ks all the time. I should be able to do that again.
Right. Mez, you caught us at a good time. I think we were about to flip to our new topic. What's going on, Mez? How you doing? Thank you for joining us.
I'm tired.
I'm tired.
Join the panel of tired people. This is what happens when you have a show called Kyber Cave After Dark, but everybody's over 30.
35.
As a lot of you guys know and stuff. Hi, Say Long. Yes. My mom had surgery on Wednesday, and I'm at her house taking care of her, which is why I'm not in my usual setup. I'm quite tired because we have to make sure to do you keep the payments and everything in the middle of the night and everything, and not sleeping in your own bed and stuff like that. I'm sure Forrest understands that right now. You just don't.
I don't know what you mean.
You don't know what I mean. Anyway, so she just went to bed.
Beautiful.
And you know what? Anyway. You gave me nothing but good news. She's not in a hospital. Her surgery was a success, and she has someone who loves her the most in life watching over her right now. That screams all good things to me.
It's all good things. I'm sad I haven't met you yet.
You are missing out on this flannel.
I want that flannel to hug me.
It calls to you.
Oh, dude, you should. You would have had a good time at karaoke night the other night.
You're the fourth Winchester, brother that's wearing flannel because they had another brother y'all didn't know about.
Oh yes,
if you haven't seen this.
I brought 2 Winchester jackets with me. I brought a gray and a green Dean Winchester jacket, and they fit. And oh my god, I look good in them. You saw the video?
Yes. All
respectably, ma'am. Respectably.
Respectably, sir. I keep going back to that short and we hearing Sam, your impression of that.
Thanks, Sammy.
Okay. Topic.
Boom. All right, so this is the one that I
forgot the word music.
What does modern lack?
What does modern lack?
It's supposed to be what is modern
nutrition.
Music. I'm tired. Look at this. Look at this.
I see it.
So this was the topic that I was saying earlier at the beginning of the show was one of the ones that kind of started KCAD. This was one that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time because this is actually based on a real letter that supposedly came out in 1991. But I just let's go around in a circle real quick and get everybody's take on modern music. Mezzo, what do you think about modern music? Maybe you don't think it lacks anything. Maybe you love it.
It depends, but a lot of the modern mainstream music is what I think is the problem is years ago, it used to be about artists just wanting to make music and art. It wasn't necessarily about just raking in all that dough. And now all it is I want to make things so I can make money. Maybe it starts out, maybe those artists start out just wanting to make music because they enjoy music, but then it just becomes a cash cow thing where you just do everything you can to make a bunch of money. And then I feel like the music loses its heart behind it.
Yeah, I trust me.
Yeah, Sewang, I forgot the word music. It's supposed to be what does modern music like? I am tired. You will not see me doing that Saber explanation tonight at all because I'm tired.
She's got all the hand gestures though.
No, I mean you are, do I listen to modern music? No, not even. That's it's most of the bands I listened to were bands before I was born because I like
Twisted.
I like second wave, third wave punk. Okay,
right.
So the mainstreamness never really occurs to them because then it's not about the music anymore. And you argue, well, Offspring did it and Green Day did it, and I'd go, they're not punk anymore. They were,
right,
but not anymore. They are pop music, unfortunately.
Got to keep them separated.
Now, yes, that was 30 years ago. And fun story about that. That's what made Epitaph Records was that record. So But anyway, because like I said, I know punk and stuff like that, and metal as well. It's modern music. I think lacks the music part. It's so overproduced and not natural that it's auto-tuned, it's synthesizers, it's computers making the sounds for you instead of you actually recording it. And
yeah, and it's layered that way.
Right. And I've always been of the sound argument is if you can't perform it live, then you shouldn't put it on the song.
Ooh, say that again for everybody in the back.
Yeah, it's just how I really feel about music. I think punk is an emotional type music, and your emotions are shown through it. I think metal's the same way. Very opposite sounds, but it's still fast, it's still heavy, and it's hard hitting. It's not, let's repeat the same verse 8 times in a row. We have that's called boy bands. Before that, and let's people that think against the Sopranos or Temptations, they're not playing their own music. To me, they were boy bands of that time.
Right. They were.
Yeah, and the Beatles eventually became that, and I understand the Beatles being widely popular and the best band for only being around for 9 years, but no, it's I don't like the modern take of things. Like I said, new music. There's a band I really listen to that their band is like about 3 years younger than me, but they're still metal, and I still listen. That's the only type of new music I listen to is metal and punk. So I don't dive into it. Was an alt rock kid in the 90s? Absolutely. Who didn't love you? Who didn't love you some Creep or Glycerin or stuff like that? So
I remember reading somewhere that a human beings' musical tastes stop at age 25. So usually for most human beings around the age 25 is like, they'll always say the best music was, when they were a teenager or when they were 10 or even in their late mid 20s. But after that, our brains just kind of start shutting off a lot of the more modern things. Okay, so here's something I've been thinking about. Does music exist that isn't about sex or drugs or violence?
Yes.
That's not religious.
That's not religious. I was going to say Veggie Tales.
Mez, you said music exists.
Yeah, oh my gosh, you can see. Well, trying to think about modern music.
Well, I'm even thinking about old music, right? Like Elvis Costello, and even some of these songs about I want to hold your hand. Really, we're talking about sex, right? That's what we're getting down to.
Yeah, but I'm thinking more about things like when I sing in operas, and literally there's a song about just drinking and having a party. It's not, and there's like fancy party. It's not like anything about sex or drugs or anything like that.
But drinking is a drug.
It sounds very hedonistic.
Right.
The opera isn't opera generally hedonistic tones?
I have to look up what hedonistic means.
It means it's about taking about having pleasure. It's about being pleasured, meaning enjoying yourself. Or
the Roman emperor lounging on a chair being fed grapes, hedonistic, with a chalice of wine.
Usually in opera there is an aria where someone dies and it's a tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
Not about pleasure. Operettas are the lighthearted ones that have like good stuff that happens.
Well, do you think music follows the same trend of the stage? And there's comedies and there's tragedies.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the music follows. I mean, a lot of the music is lyrical spoken word poetry, right, Dan?
Well, yeah, poetry is derived. Yeah, music is derived from poetry. Poetry is just rhythmatic words and tones. So yeah, a lot of music did derive from that. The reason this topic in particular, I just kind of wanted to get like a general feel with you guys, but there is something very specific with this topic that I wanted to bring up, and I wanted to ask you about your thoughts. If you think this is real or just a conspiracy. But this is something you can completely look up, Google it for yourself. But in 1991, supposedly there was a gentleman who was a high-level person at a record company, and he was invited to a secret meeting. And the secret meeting, there was roughly 25 to 30 other people that were high-level executives in the music industry in LA. And they came to this meeting, and this meeting was between a gentleman who they were setting up what they at the time called privatized prisons. This was a newer concept, right? And so what this meeting supposedly was about was that with these privatized prisons, because it is a for-profit business, you can buy shares into these privatized prisons. So what they wanted to offer was for these record companies, if they started producing music that led towards more violence, more drug activity, more people going to prisons, that they would give shares to these record companies in order to help increase the numbers of these prisons. And that is a theory, one of the theories for why hip hop is ass nowadays. Why it's all about, all these fucking
Tell us how you really feel.
Rainbow teeth and, crazy tattoos, just rapping about their bling, rapping about their guns.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can always rely on you, honey. Always.
What's up, Aubrey? Where are you, Aubrey? Why are you not jumping in? Why are you not in here?
Check the chat, man. She's already answered.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Check the chat, not the YouTube chat, our group chat. Yeah. She's already answered.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not over there. Yeah, well, yes. I don't know what's on that chat, so I don't know why you're here. So, but the topic or what we're talking about, and we can talk about music in general because I feel like it's a general trend, and that's why I asked about music as far as, does music exist that isn't about drugs, sex, or alcohol, or drugs, sex, or violence in some way? Because I feel like music has always been about, about that sex, right?
Well, let me ask this question. Damn it. It's my catchphrase now. Do you put love, the pursuit of good relationships, into the sex category?
I do, yes.
So a song about a lady confessing her love to a man, right, without not talking about pressing against his body or anything like that. I'm saying like,
right. I'm
saying like just,
I want to hold your hand.
Yeah. I'm talking about things. I'm talking about things like, good relationships or wanting to be married or having kids one day, something like really sweet.
Grow old with you.
Do you consider that like in a sex related category?
For the sake of this argument, yes.
Okay.
Love, I would put love into sex.
Can you clarify?
That's where love goes to, right?
Not all the time, no.
Okay. Yes, you've got your Dionne Warwick's and Stevie Wonder. What was that song? Friends. Jesus Christ. That's what friends are. Thank you, Barbara. That's what friends are for. Keep smiling. Keep shining. Okay, that is not about sex. That's about friendship, right? So yes, I guess some do exist, but a majority, I feel like, of all music really would fall into majority of those. Oh, Weird Al. God damn it. Thank you. Okay, Weird Al. Weird Al is...
Go and make me so constipated.
There's of course music out there that isn't about sex, drugs. There's of course music out there. Yes, but I feel as a general topic, like a majority of all music we listen to will fall into those categories. Obviously, and there's some good examples. There is some music that doesn't fall into that.
Well,
most of what I listen to is musicals, like Spamalot.
Is it okay? So let me ask you this kind of question then, Ark. Is it music supposed to make you feel something? Isn't that the purpose? Isn't music supposed to make you feel something? Isn't that the whole idea of music? And that's why you listen to what you listen to.
Yes.
So if you want your cat sopping wet, you might want to listen to that song.
Wait, what did you just say?
I'm not the only one who heard it.
Oh, Forrest knew exactly what I meant.
Freak out!
You're sopping wet cats.
Stop it.
Right. Say Wong says most right now is few good rhymes. Add
like close my computer and be done. I realized when I closed my computer where it went.
Yes. So
that's not what I meant to have happen. I meant to jokingly close my computer like I was leaving the conversation. Then I realized where the camera went with that.
Uh-huh.
Great.
Mm-hmm. So minute 25 and 30 seconds is a short, right?
Yeah. That's been what Phil and Graveyard and I have been doing all weekend is trying to make shorts.
James, don't ask. Oh
yeah, I have no idea, James.
James, you need to get in here and moderate, please.
I accidentally was giving everyone a view of the wet cat again.
Hey, no one could say I wasn't monetized sense friendly with that statement.
Well, we just validated Van's thought. Everything is sex related now.
Okay, I'm going to close it this way.
But no, I mean, the idea of music is to make you feel something, So, if to Van's question, the whole idea of hip hop and making people be angry, right? Is that, yes, if that's how you want to feel, that's how you want to feel. Right. And realistically, if you want, somebody, if you're sad, do you want to listen to a sad song to go with your sadness? Do you want to listen to a happy song to get you out of it? So,
yeah, but even that, I think about who we getting? We got Aubrey.
Music major here, by the way. Just saying. You
Where?
guys have made me get off of my bed and now onto this channel to talk about music.
Guitars.
Sorry, hi.
Aubrey, did you see what just happened?
What just happened?
Oh,
she did not.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can create. So, what?
Moving on.
Somewhere. Well, I mean, I sort of heard it. I was trying to wait. There actually, my friend just got here. That was supposed to go here.
The redness just left my face finally. So.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Oh, you talking about yes, music is about sex. That thing. I guess it was always about sex. Okay.
No,
you'll see a short of it later.
Else. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure I will. All right. Anyways, let me go get my friend, and then I will be right back. But we're going to talk about music because majors. So yay!
I was just talking about SWPs. I mean,
stop it!
Is that a soaking wet cat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So to your first point, does everything like I said, if you want to listen to songs that make you feel randy, you can, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking about your point about the music, if you want to be sad, you listen to sad music, but then I think about how music does the other thing. I think about Alanis Morissette's "This Is Why I'm Here to Remind You." So it's a song about getting broken up, but it's sung very happy and upbeat. It's very full of energy and passion.
It sounds angry, but
yeah, I guess angry would be.
So
it sounds bitter.
So do you think more often than not that we utilize music as mood amplifiers?
Mm-hmm.
I personally
or
definitely
to get us out of the mood that we're in.
Yeah, or a funk breaker.
I definitely think. Wait, what the hell just happened? Oh, I'm trying to bring you in, Aubrey. Hold on.
Vian just doesn't know what he's doing. It's okay.
Hi.
No, it dropped her inside another screen. It was just weird.
You want to know if music is a mood enhancer. So, fun fact. Music is actually a language. So that's why we have music theory. Because what theory does is it actually puts in what we are feeling. Of course, I'm not wrong. I went to school for this. But
giving you the credit, honey.
Thank you. But there are actually keys that are actually synonymous with certain feelings that we have, so that it creates a universal mood for how we're feeling. So it doesn't matter where you actually are in the world. Certain music keys, certain melodic tones, they will invoke a sense of feeling because that is what people are displaying through their emotions. That's why art and music actually are about displaying emotions that people are feeling because it's a universal language. Not everybody is, some people have ebonics, unfortunately, when it comes to music and they don't know what the hell they're doing or they're trying to break the code or whatever. But for the most part, that is why you feel things when certain things happen. When you hear dun, dun, it's a hero. It's the hero interval because that's when the hero comes in. That's why all music themes that are heroic tones or themes start with a dun, 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 or what's the other one? What's another one? Dun 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 dun. I mean, that's not really one, but let's see. Trying to think. My brain, because you guys got me out of bed to do this.
So Aubrey,
No, you chose to get out
Aubrey,
of bed.
the bigger question, Aubrey, was there was a rumor
Superman.
that in the 90s there was a letter that was put out by a gentleman that in 1991 he was a record executive and he was brought into a secret meeting of other high-level record executives from LA, and they were confronted by people in the prison corporations of for-profit prisons, and they were told that if they would start selling music, particularly hip-hop music, that was more about drugs, more about violence, more about things that would encourage living a lifestyle that would put people in prisons, that these record label owners would get shares of the prison profits.
I mean, that's really interesting. I've not heard of this study, but there is a study that was done about plants. So they wanted to know if certain plants would grow, if a plant would grow differently depending on the music, right?
And I've seen this
so
study.
What they have found is that it didn't really matter what the music sounded like, right? They could have done heavy metal or emo or whatever, right? It actually had to do with the content and the tone of the music. So it didn't really. So what I'm trying to say is that it's if you are trying to sell a certain message and you have that the tone of something that's negative, you're gonna get more negative results versus even if you have something else, like as I said, like heavy metal or whatever, it's actually going to positively impact you versus negatively impact you unless the message itself is negative. And that's what they found out when they did these studies on plants. Because if the plant heard negative things all day, it wasn't going to grow. It actually wilted and died. Versus even the hardest music, as long as the message was positive, the plants grew. It's really fascinating.
One of the experiment with water as well, where it actually changed how the water was seen through a microscope, whether they spoke good words of positivity to the bottles of water or negative words. So the question is though, but do you think something like that could happen? And do you think that that's why modern music sucks so bad? Or is it just that we're old?
Thank you. I am music queen. That is right. God damn it. So I've not heard anything about this. So I mean, it's possible that it absolutely could have happened. But I don't know why they would put it out that they would want to, give prisoners to sell more of these things and to get more of that type of music out there. That's not what hip hop is actually about.
Well, that's not what it's about, but that's why the Prison Institute wanted these themes incorporated into hip hop so that they could get more people in prisons to keep the prisons full.
I mean, they could do that anyways. There's a lot of things that people arrest. They don't need the excuse of doing music to have that as an influencer. They can just arrest you for a traffic stop and put you in prison, never put you out. In a way, it's kind of a whole separate conversation, but I've not heard this. I would need to see the study on it. I would need to see the resources or the sources on it.
It's not a study. It's conspiracy.
No, I mean, music is conspiracy. Okay, great. Now I know. I'm in the know here. Okay, so, but the thing is that music, I mean, anyone can turn a profit and say something. I mean, it's like people say that Tupac wrote gangster music and that's all he did, but he wasn't writing it from a place of like, I'm hip, I'm cool, and I've got my gun and my bitches and my hoes. He wrote it because he's like, I was on the block and this is what I saw. Sorry, guys. Demonetized.
You're
No,
on
but
After Dark. It's all good.
That happened a long time ago before you got
cool.
I said all safe words.
But
I'm just surprised she said bitches and hoes. I'm just still a little taken by that one.
well, I mean, that's what is rumored that Tupac wrote about. But if you actually listen to what he wrote about, he didn't write about that. He actually wrote about how hard it was growing up in the street and being judged for being a certain way and how hard it is for people like him to get out. And that's why he wrote it.
Right, but we're talking about modern music. We're not talking about Tupac.
Well, no, but there's a point because you're talking about 1991. So you're talking about that's
Right,
the era
which was
of
the
Tupac
birth of
Shakur
gangster
and
rap.
all of those other things. Right. Same with LL Cool J. He didn't write Gangster's Paradise because he wanted to talk about, getting more moolah. No, I think what it is it's a reflection on where we are in society. People are stressed. So what are they doing? They're talking about negative things because they're stressed and they don't know how to properly excise it. So do I think it's a lot of it's about greed, corporate greed too? Yeah, of course. That's why we have a lot of talentless people in the music industry. A lot of them about, corporate heads and such. Yes, you are all talented hacks. I said it here.
But my thought is like there's so much music that out there is bad. And then when you talk to people, like collectively, a lot of people will say it's bad, but it still keeps getting pushed.
Sure.
And my thought is there's got to be a bigger reason for it, or there's got to be a bigger. If this song is on the radio all the time, but nobody has this song in the collection, then it's not being pushed because it's popular. It's being pushed because maybe there's an agenda or a reason behind it.
There's an easier reason for it, though. Money. Just
right, which
money.
Is exactly right. If you keep the prisons filled and people are making money from it, then the record labels were supposedly getting kickbacks or shares of the profits, not the profits, the stocks from the.
I mean, they could. I'm just telling you, I haven't heard anything like that in terms of prison or.
That's a long game to play too, because they're banking on a subliminal message to work and incite this behavior in several millions of people, hoping that at least a few would engage in such irresponsibility, thus ending up in the prison system.
It's also like saying, if you listen to the Beatles backwards, you're going to hear "Love Satan, Love Satan." I mean,
that was Guns N' Roses, honey.
Okay, but that too. But I'm just saying, they anyway.
It's pronounced Satine.
Wait, that was Obi-Wan's wife.
So it's not made for you. It's made for your kids. Yeah, I mean,
I don't necessarily agree with that. Especially if you listen to like trap music, right? Trap music was really popular, like 5 years ago or whatever. That was when you got the like the Little Yachties and the Little Pumps.
Here's why a lot of people say that in a way music sucks, because it's harder to reach into here because you're listening to digital music, and unfortunately digital music does not have the analog sound. Nope. And you also have a lot of auto tune, so it doesn't feel real because a lot of times it isn't real. People are doing little beeps and boops and they don't know what they're doing. I mean, they're just like, oh, this sounds cool, this is what, and they don't know what they're saying. And that's what's really kind of a shame. Unless you know theory, you're just going to go, hey, this sounds good. Like, I mean, there are people, I'll go to people and be like, hey, why did you choose this key? And they're like, I don't have no fucking idea. I just liked it. And it's like.
Yeah, even in that, like, I don't know. My favorite genre of music is electronica and trip hop, which is based completely off of synthesized music. But it's also
I'm just saying there's an analog sound
vocals.
Versus digital sound, and that is a lot different. I mean, again, you're going to resonate with what you're going to resonate with. That's why it's so hard to pin it down. Why? I will say there's a lot more digitalization than there was even 30 years ago. But
yeah, multiple
especially
layers
with auto tuning and all that. There's a really good voice analyst who talks about this a lot. His name is Phil, and he does. He's on YouTube and he does a lot of vocal and vocal analysts about why it's hard to resonate with a lot of artists today because of all that the auto tune, and it kind of detracts from hearing a human voice. You're just hearing a mechanical sound. It's much like the mechanical. No one's going to know this. The mechanical nightingale and the Nightingale story, where it sounds pretty, but it means nothing. If that makes sense. Because we're not associating. There's a disconnection.
And now I've got Sweet Nightingale stuck in my head.
Swisted says digital sounds have been with us for 50 years.
Yes, but but actually auto tuning didn't actually happen until around 1998 when it was actually used. So sure, we've had synthesizers, we've had that, but we still had analog sound.
Well, Say Wong says South Park mentioned this Randy is Lord.
Yes.
Episode. I've never seen South Park.
I remember that episode. But
anyways, guys, I'm gonna have to go because my friend is here and I need to go back and lay down. I just had to come in for this music conversation. We could talk a lot about it. I can go on and on about like the eras of music and all of this, but I'm leaving. Peace. The captain is out.
Hey.
So yes, you saw this, or you didn't understand what the episode's about?
I remember seeing this episode. I remember the whole Randy is Lord, but I don't know specifically. He says South Park mentioned this. I'm not sure what part South Park mentioned.
So they went through the process of Randy Marsh, the dad of Stan, the geologist, saying that he is Lord because he's like, okay, here's how I do it. And he goes, he just sings, he puts in a snap, and he does all these production elements, changes his pitch, his tone to everything to then sound like Lord. That's the joke of it, is that anyone can, as I was saying before, everything's overproduced now. So everything doesn't sound as genuine as it can be. Once again, I'll say it for the back. If you can't play it live, don't play it and put it in your song.
Heard it in the back. Well done.
So, yes.
If you can't get the wet cat live.
Wow.
Oh my God.
You need to come on more often on Friday nights, Miss.
But no, it's absolutely a thing that you don't hear the genuine stuff. And one of my favorite punk bands is ending 40 years. This is their last year. They're going to be a band. So it's NoFX. I don't know if anyone knows NoFX.
Yeah.
So they've always been notoriously bad live. 100% live. They suck live. Their live albums say, I heard they suck live. I heard they still suck live. I've seen them live and they suck. However, when they're behind the guitar or behind the drums and stuff like that, when they're recording, they have more takes, so they're able to produce a good song.
They're able to suck less.
Right. So, it's you're always, I think, with the stuff that's not produced, it's gonna be harder to get the same experience from that song without the use of the computer as well. That the computer, the production system has to be there as well for it to sound remotely what you have on your album, your digital app, whatever, right? So it's less authentic at that point. So yeah, if you're going to pay $2,000 for Taylor Swift, her songs better sound exactly the way they do on the album.
Right. Yeah, it's so different what you hear in the studios a lot of times compared to what you hear on the live stage. Mets, what are your thoughts about modern music? Do you think there's any validity? Do you think music is how the audience wants it, or do you think it's being shaped by corporate interests?
I think.
Do you think the crap we get is because that's what we're asking for? And Swisted, Patrick made a good point. This music that's being made is not for us; it's for young people.
Yeah.
So maybe we're just not in touch with what they want. I personally don't necessarily agree with that because of the, some of the lyrics that we're seeing. I don't necessarily think that these are what people are asking for. I think it's what they're given.
Yeah, I think part of it also has to do with what the artist is marketing towards, and what will make the most money.
Yes.
Like, for example, I think Taylor Swift's got some nice music, but I'm not going to go spend $1,000 a ticket on any of her stuff. I don't even own any of her music. Oh, gosh, sorry. It's just cream soda, I promise. But I just
Dragon again.
I could drink you under the table. You just don't know it.
I know.
You'll find out, right? I'm just kidding.
Boys don't drink.
Anyway, moving on. I think it has to do a lot with executives. For example, you got like Avril Lavigne, right? They tried to push her towards like the pre-teeny girly, like Christina Aguilera kind of pop stuff. So she did her, but she was like, no, she did her like her alternative version. You know what alternative she could go, as much as she could. I think for her it might have been a phase in general anyway, because I think as of late she's in her 30s now, I think.
Yes.
So she's not like, a 17-year-old kid trying to stand out and be rebellious. I think her look has changed a lot over time, but I think it just has to do with wanting to make money and the artists playing in the scopes of corporate so they can keep making music and making money too.
And I have a perfect example of that happening. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Blink-182. When they put out Adam's Song, which was a slower, heavier, more meaningful song, it got very, very popular. So what did they do the next couple albums? They stuck to that type. They lost what little punk, if any, they had. Their pop punk. And they found that thing. And so I think any artist is going to go, yeah, I can make music however I want. But if that's not, people aren't listening to it, you're not gonna be able to do it. So if you find something that resonates and makes an audience that's attention grabbing, you're going to stick with that type. That's why you hear so many bands by their second album change drastically.
Right. Well, even Jay-Z says he doesn't make the music he wants to listen to. He makes the music people buy.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you have solo projects for the music that you want to make versus your band stuff.
It's the theme of our show of After Dark. Do you have the time to?
Yeah. So, yes, Sugar Ray's prime example. His Sugar Ray's first album had explicit content warning on it. And I go, really? Sugar Ray? But yeah, I mean...
Right. Yeah.
It's all a conspiracy. I'm deleting that now.
Oh, no. Leave it up for tomorrow.
You go for me. Super mellow.
Okay, it's back.
Okay. So, I mean, Forrest, what do you think? Like I said, what's your type of music? Because I feel like I'm the only one on this channel that does not listen to musicals.
Oh God, I'm
I don't listen to musicals.
I'm the oddball. I'm the oddball. I am. I mean, honestly, I don't even have a place in this conversation. I listen to game soundtracks, anime soundtracks, J-pop, 90s alternative, and some of that pop, plus instrumental.
I haven't even been listening to music.
That's what I listen to.
I listen to true crime podcasts and horror podcasts sometimes.
But do you listen to Last of Us soundtrack to get something more somber, and do you listen to Mega Man to get yourself hyped up? Stuff like that. I mean, you're going to have the same tonal difference.
So, okay. When I want to get to a peaceful place, I will find something acoustic from Life is Strange.
Mm-hmm.
If I am, if I'm wanting to get like a little hyped up, like Van and his son and myself were playing this like really cool board game earlier that was like really battle theme heavy, and it was awesome. So what I did is I turned on YouTube and I put on all the Octopath Traveler battle themes, and it just made the experience even more fun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, to answer your question, yes, I find music that is appropriate for the mood I'm in or want to get to. That answer your question.
So what is on Forza's workout playlist?
The stuff from Rocky 2.
First, mine's Mamma Mia, so don't feel bad. I'm like Mamma Mia. It's like a good pace to keep up with.
Here Mez goes again.
Yeah, it's like a good pace.
No, I play the soundtrack from Rocky 1 and Rocky 2.
But it motivates you, right? It helps you get through the workout. So you do listen to it. I don't understand people that can go to the gym and not listen to something.
Say Wong's making a good point about K-pop being K-pop now has reached its
K-pop has reached a really crazy spot.
If you look at the difference between K-pop, like boy bands now, and like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, like the K-pop boy bands now, their dancing is astronomical, like crazy. And like I've seen even like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, like boy bands, look at the K-pop stuff now and be like, they're insane. Like that's just crazy stuff they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, in fairness, NSYNC, one of the guys was like 50 when he started, right?
That was Backstreet Boys. Okay, that was Kevin, and he was more like he was almost 30 when they.
Do I look like I know that information?
I guess you can tell
secretly he does.
If I know that information or not.
No, I think it's the inspiration, and like I said, going full circle, it's with the conspiracy of do they make music more violent? I think metal has always been there before 1991. People were Slayer and Iron Maiden and stuff like that. So it's that message has always been there, and to Captain's point is it's a language, it's just a different way of saying the same thing.
Yeah, right. I'll give you that.
Say Wong says they had taken advantage of just the same as well. I did see a great documentary about kind of like the K-pop machine in Korea and like how hard it is on their lives, and being damn near starvation with long days, rehearsed schedules without getting paid. It is absolutely amazing what people will do for fame.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are getting here up until the end of our hour. It has been a very interesting discussion. I don't know if we really got anywhere.
No, we did.
Or came up with any conclusive answers. Modern music sucks. That's my conclusive answer.
I took everyone somewhere.
Yeah. I know we'll have to see if our
what happens when I'm tired.
Fly through the roof
and drinking. Oh,
I was gonna say what happens when you're tired and drinking.
Soda.
Yeah.
With a splash of vodka.
Hey, by the way, I want to let everybody know, and actually, now that we've got all four of us in particular on the air, this Sunday, actually this week in general, is going to be an interesting week for our boys Graveyard and Fours. You guys are taking over two shows from two different channels this week, right?
Yep.
That's what I hear. You're taking over Kyber Cave, Saber Rattle. So you will not see Mezerai in the main spots this Sunday. And you are taking over a distance nerding show. So why don't we get to our pluggables, and you guys can let people know about that. So let's start with Graveyard up here, since you're in the spot already.
Yay!
Right. I'm Graveyard, co-host of the Mostly Pod Out at Night, Mostly podcast. You can find that anywhere right now where you get your podcasts. That's hopefully changing soon with our partnership to ComCon Radio getting finalized. So you'll find everything there. We'll still have it on our website for anyone that goes to our website. We release new episodes every Wednesday. That will continue even when we move to ComCon Radio. So we'll still have a Wednesday release. You can follow us on social media everywhere at Pod Out at Night. I shortened everywhere, so it's all the same. I didn't make it. I didn't care. But that's all changed. So yeah, check that out. On top of that, I'm here 4 days a week, 3 live, 1 pre-recorded. So make sure to check us out Monday, Retro Alcove, where I'm playing with anyone here from our awesome channel. Top of that, we have our gaming live on Thursdays, where usually Fours or I are playing, obviously Kyber Cave, and then our new show Saturday Morning Nerd Out continues after a week hiatus tomorrow. So make sure to check it out. On top of that, you'll find me every Thursday on the build at Distance Nerding, right before we go live gaming. So make sure to check us out there as well.
Woo-hoo. All right, I'm gonna go next since we got Mez. I'm gonna give Mez the last spot. I wanted to remind everybody we are in the middle of a fundraiser right now for our good friend producer Jon over at Beatdown in Hearts of Kyber. So far, we've raised just over $2,000 on his way towards getting him his wheelchair. We need to raise a lot more than that, so we hope for your help. And if you can't help financially, just letting other people know about this is good enough too. So please make sure to check that out. Everything you buy on Kyber Cave's website right now is 20% off, with another 20% of your purchase going towards Jon's wheelchair fund. So please make sure to check that out.
And what's the code to get 20% off?
Oh, yes. Thank you. And that's actually on the page now, too. AbiliTVs, ABILITV. That is how you get the 20% off. Thank you, Graveyard.
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
And you know me, I am the one and only Fours FX Saber Sound. You can find the work that I do or have done over at saberfont.com. You could pick up some sound fonts from me or any of my friends like Juan Sith or Harry Solo fonts. And if you go to kybercave.com, be sure to pick yourself up one of the lightsabers that they have there. And if you're in the California area, be sure to stop by the store. Steven, Van, they're there to sell you all sorts of great sabers. I've been there for the very first time. They got a great display case of just some phenomenal pieces that you'll definitely be interested at a super affordable price. So if you're looking to break into lightsaber props and whatnot, and yeah, James, if you're looking to break into that, Kyber Cave is the way to go. And then, of course, go to saberfont.com to get all sorts of sounds. You can find me on this channel, Kyber Cave Productions. You'll see me here on Fridays. You'll see me here most Saturdays, some Mondays, definitely hosting Thursday Night Live. I'm also doing 2 Queens and a Fours. We're going through some retro-esque stuff, not as old as Super Nintendo, but we do some PlayStation stuff. And we're going to be, at some point, finishing our Last of Us series and going into Last of Us 2. If you are in the Northern California area, guess what? I'm here. I'm finally freaking here, and I'm so happy. It's been one hell of an adventure so far, and I'm going to be talking about it as these next couple of weeks go by while I'm here. Sunday, playing the role of Van, the Fours World Tour. Playing the role of Van will be myself. Playing the role of Mezzo will be Graveyard, as we will be heading things off on Sunday, and we have a very, 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 and I mean very special guest. We're going to be interviewing. This person has put in hella work to make so many wonderful things in a lot of our lives happen. We're super, super grateful for this person, and we love this person so much. So it's going to be my honor. It's going to be Graveyard's honor to interview this cat, because he's one of the greatest folks I know. So, and also tune in next week on Distance Nerding, where I will be playing the White Wish version of Phil, and and Graveyard will be the James sub, I guess. So be sure to check out the download and the build at that point in time. And yeah, I think Fours and Graveyard are about to become the Inheriting Brothers, because that's oh God, I love California so far.
Hold on. Here you go. Hold on. Before that, here's my impression. I should be James.
Oh, I love it. Mezzo.
What do you think about that, James?
That was amazing.
All right, Ms. Metz.
Hi, I'm Mezzo. I'm just a little part of this channel.
Do I need to step in and do this for you?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, to my immediate right, that would be on the screen, the immediate left, you have Kyber Cave's very own Mezzo. She quite literally does everything on this channel. We all try to be just like her, if not try to be her, because she's amazing. She's taught me and Graveyard so much about the editing, about the how-tos and the whatnots and the everything about this channel, and she makes it how great that it is. And she's like, she's our matriarch. She's our Mezzo matriarch.
When is the 1 year, Mezzo?
In 2 weeks.
Wow.
We'll be on the channel for a year officially. It'll be an After Dark episode.
Wow.
And
So
I
you gotta
plan
be
to
And
film
I'll
that
be here
episode.
for it.
Yeah, the
You gotta be
28th.
here. It's so crazy to think that you've only been here a year.
I'm telling you, we all need to be live in one room.
Not everybody can, and
Most of us can because I'm here, damn
this
it.
wonderful gentleman cannot.
And we don't
And
have
others
Frey
can
with us. We don't have
play.
John.
I replaced Ezra. Yeah, I did take the position that he had on the channel, and I'm very grateful that it was kind of happenstance, because if you guys don't know the story, I met Ark through his store manager because I've known him for like 6 or 7 years, and it just kind of I joined the channel 2 days before my first show, so it was kind of a whirlwind. But anyway, yes, tune in. I do a good amount of the editing on the channel. Like tonight's appearance was kind of like it just happened to work out because my mom went to bed. But I'm still doing editing and stuff like that, and graphics and everything, even though I'm here taking care of my mom. I'm just not planning to appear on camera at all for the next like week and a half, just depending on her. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at MetzoJD.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right, y'all. So this Sunday night, you will not see Mezzo and I in our normal positions.
You won't see me at all.
Right. Things will not be what you are used to seeing. But we are always here. We put out programming. We have programming 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
7 days a week. There is something for you. And it is because of all these lovely people here, plus other lovely people that aren't on screen right now, too. But I very much appreciate our Kyber family that we have. And with that, I'm going to wrap this up because I have a buddy Fours, and we are going to watch Everything Everywhere All at Once.
So, with that, from Mezzo, Graveyard, Van, and myself, may the fours be with you. We ain't got to go home, but we got to get the hell up out of here.
All right. Take care, y'all.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, guys.